Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to connect two things you'd never think go together: 19th century sailors and 21st century AI. It's all about how to predict chaos, and the solution, believe it or not, is over 150 years old.
So let's just jump right in with the big question. How do you predict chaos? I mean, really think about it. Whether we're talking about a massive storm brewing over the ocean or an AI trying to figure out what your company actually does, the fundamental problem is exactly the same.
I want you to picture this. You're in London. It's 1854. For pretty much all of human history, the weather has been a total mystery. It's this chaotic force of nature. Storms just appear out of nowhere, sinking entire fleets, wiping out crops. There are zero warnings, no forecasts, just completely unpredictable and often deadly chaos.
But one man was absolutely determined to change all that. And that brings us to our first section, the FitzRoy Revolution. We're about to meet the guy who looked at all that chaos and decided, you know what? I think we can predict this.
This is Admiral Robert FitzRoy. In 1854, he started the British Meteorological Office. Now, FitzRoy had a secret weapon, a real game changer, the Telegraph. For the very first time in history, he could get weather data from all across the country at the exact same moment. So he sets up this whole network of observation stations, but, and this is the crucial part, he made sure they all used standardized instruments and the exact same terminology. And after years of gathering all this structured data, something amazing happened. Patterns started to pop out of the noise. And by 1861, he was issuing the world's first official weather forecasts and storm warnings. Incredible.
The key to his whole system was this thing, the synoptic chart. It's basically a map where he plotted all that standardized data. By doing this, he could see the entire weather system all at once, the whole big picture. He wasn't just staring at one random barometer reading, he was seeing a massive interconnected system moving across the country.
And boom, just like that, weather wasn't random anymore. It had patterns. FitzRoy proved that if you can engineer an infrastructure to create standardized, recognizable data, you can start to predict the future. And that's the real takeaway here. He didn't just observe the chaos, he built a system to structure it.
Okay, so what in the world does a Victorian weatherman have to do with your brand today? Well, it turns out, everything. Because right now, most brands are creating the exact same kind of signal chaos for AI systems that FitzRoy was facing with the weather.
Just take a look at this slide. It lays the problem out perfectly. On the left, you've got chaos. Your LinkedIn profile calls you a strategic consultancy. Your website says you're brand storytelling experts. Your YouTube channel talks about authentic communication. To an AI, these are all different things. It's just noise, there's no clear pattern. But now look at the right. Every single signal across every platform is standardized to AI visibility consultancy. All of a sudden, a crystal clear, predictable pattern emerges.
And this gets us to the modern-day solution, what we call a pattern recognition infrastructure. Seriously, just think of it as FitzRoy's network of weather stations, but for your brand in the 21st century. It's all about intentionally, systematically engineering consistent signals so that AI systems can look at you and say, ah, I get it. I know exactly who you are and what you do with a high degree of confidence.
So you're probably thinking, okay, I get the concept, but how do I actually build this thing? Well, that's what this next section is all about. We're going to walk through how to engineer these predictable patterns using a framework called the signal pattern model.
Okay, principle number 1 is standardized signal generation. This is pure FitzRoy 101. Just like he made every station use the same instrument and the same word for cloudy, you have to use the exact same terminology for your core concepts, every single time. Look, creativity is great, but in this context, it's your enemy. Creative variations destroy patterns. Discipline is what creates them. And here is a super practical, brilliant tool for this, the terminology lock. You literally create a simple chart that defines your standard terms, and this is just as important. It lists the variations that your team should never use. This little document ensures everyone, from marketing to sales, is sending the exact same clean signal out into the world.
Principle number 2 is all about time. It's temporal pattern accumulation. FitzRoy couldn't predict a storm from one day's worth of data, right? He needed to see the patterns forming over months and years. AI is no different. One single mention of your key term in a blog post? That's just a guess to an AI. But 150 mentions published on a consistent schedule over time, now that builds a high-confidence pattern. That's historical data an AI can actually rely on.
And finally, we have cross-context pattern verification.
FitzRoy only trusted a storm warning when multiple stations were all reporting the same data. It confirmed the pattern was real. Well, AI does the exact same thing. It trusts your identity when it sees the same signals on your website and your LinkedIn profile and your YouTube channel and in your code. It verifies that your pattern is a reliable indicator of who you are, not just some random one-off anomaly.
The big takeaway here is that this isn't just some abstract theory. You can actually do this. You can build your very own forecast system for your brand's visibility to AI. So let's walk through the 5 actionable steps to get it done.
All right, here's your plan. Step 1, create that signal standardization reference, your terminology lock. Step 2, build an attribution template. That's just a consistent statement you use when you talk about your ideas. Step 3, establish a consistent publishing cadence to build up that data over time. Step 4, go out and deploy cross-platform consistency. Audit everything to make sure it all matches. And finally, Step 5, measure. Check in monthly to see if AI systems are actually recognizing your pattern with more confidence.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? Prediction requires pattern. Pattern requires structure. Structure requires discipline. That was the fundamental lesson from FitzRoy back in 1854, and it is the unbreakable rule for being understood by AI today. That's the whole game.
And so that brings us to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. Take a hard look at your own brand, your website, your content, your social media. Are all those signals you're putting out there creating clear, predictable patterns, or are you just adding to the noise? Because honestly, the answer to that question will determine whether you are understood or completely ignored in the age of AI.